It's good afternoon, Elisabeth Easther. Welcome to Yellow Shelf.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me.
Elizabeth, you're coming to Yellow Shelf from New Zealand. I'm in Australia. It's exciting to be able to support your debut novel. Congratulations.
Thank
Seed
you.
is out now. Tell us all about it.
Well, Seed is a multi-narrative book about two pairs of friends, and they're in different stages of the fertility journey, which is, that sort of 30s to late 40s or even later these days.
Yeah.
So the two sets of friends, both of them have a sort of a polarizing situation. For example, one of them's desperate to get pregnant, and maybe the other one may have found it easier when she wasn't trying, that sort of thing. And so the two friends have and one person has no partner and wants to have a baby, and the other one already has the perfect family and is reluctant to breed again, even though there are pressures to do that. So it's the complications within those two friendships and how they play out. And I think those sorts of things are actually really real, like we all know someone that's desperate to breed and all their friends are popping them out like poppy out things like a squid, eggs everywhere. And it's a really difficult time of life for some people.
Yeah. And Elizabeth, you talking about relating. I mean, I read the book over, I've got the book here. I read the book over that Christmas period, we've just had here in Australia and around the world. And so I was it was downtime for me, but I could relate. There were parts in this that I could relate, that life, modern life, relationship, friendships, complexities, journeys. Yeah, I could see myself in characters or parts of.
Well, I think also, I mean, it's not explicitly about friendship jealousy, but that is such a strong thing. Like everybody has that thing when someone rings up and says, "Oh, I've just been given a promotion or a raise or a great job, or someone's offered me a XYZ," and you're so happy for your friend. But then there's also, and any normal person goes, "Oh,"
Yeah.
as much as you're feeling for generosity to your friend, there is, well, why her?
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think
And
when it's something
that's
as high
healthy and
stakes,
normal. Healthy and normal, isn't it? We
yes.
go through these emotions, and it really resonates in the book as well. Do you want to tell us? I mentioned it's your debut novel. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell us about writing. Tell us about what inspired you to write Seed.
Well, it's because it's been being written for such a long. I'm 55 at the moment,
Oh,
and, and
you
I
look
intend.
fabulous.
Thanks. It's the filter. No, actually, I don't know how to do the filter. Um, I wrote out of a place of pain. I was having a bad time with that. I'd had a couple of miscarriages. I was actually with a completely inappropriate partner at the time, so just as well, frankly. And because of those miscarriages from organically occurring pregnancies that we weren't actually trying to do, because he was completely inappropriate, we got on the whole IVF train.
Journey. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just and it didn't result in anything, which again just as well. It was actually really fraught and oh my gosh, it was so many things. And I'm a writer anyway, so I'm a
Mm.
journalist, I'm a playwright, I'm an actor, I tell stories, but I've also written diaries since I was a kid and I just wanted to get some of it out.
Yeah, yeah.
And in doing so, I have a son from a previous relationship who's now 20, and he was away with his dad for a week, which I found also another pain, deep
Yeah.
pain, because usually even if he was with his dad at night, I would be picking him up from school
Yeah.
with my flexi freelance life. So I had this week and I just sat down at the table and I didn't want to drink myself silly. So I just thought I'd write instead.
Yeah.
And I wrote and wrote and wrote, and it started as a novel. I turned it into a play. It won some awards. It did some tours, and then I wanted to turn it back into a novel. And then that was the marathon to get it to a state where a publisher would say yes. And then once you finish that marathon, they go, right, you're going to do run around that course again.
Yeah.
It's been yeah.
Wow. What a
Mm,
journey. What a journey.
mm.
Did you enjoy writing as a novel? Like screenwrite to
I mean, all the writing. I mean, it's kind of all people say they're genre, different for the very different things, but they're still the same. They're people having lives that you care enough about to whether it's watch the next episode or turn the page or pay $25 to go to the theatre or 105, depending on what theatre you're at. Um, so it's that same thing. What makes people want to stay with you?
yeah, so true. And Elizabeth, would you write again? I mean, you are meant to
Oh, heck
enjoy the
yeah.
journey of this one, but I always wonder when I ask a debut novelist, even though you're a journalist and you're a writer, would you write a book again? Is that something that's kind of been sparked?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I had books before. I had a book in my mid-20s that I sent off to Penguin, and the head of Penguin, I was writing an op-ed in the big daily paper here, and I said, oh, I'm just working on my novel, being a soap star in New Zealand for the op-ed, wouldn't you say that? And he was like, oh, we'd love to see it. So I showed it to him, and he was like, we really love it. And then he was wanting to send me, like give me a contract and stuff. And he goes, oh, we've secured our best editor for you. And I was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. I'm 25. I'm going to have my first novel out. And then his best editor didn't like it.
Wow.
End of story. End of story.
End of
I know
story.
the name. I
Yeah. Well,
haven't done
thank you
anything
for
about it,
sharing.
but
Yeah.
yes, it's a
Thank
hard
you for
road.
sharing that journey because I feel like that's really interesting. Your tenacity and persistence to kind of, just keep writing over a period of time.
Well, because I've been an actor as well, I am no stranger to rejection and sometimes really quite
Brutal.
yeah. People can really they almost like they want to stick the knife, and there's a certain that can be quite a common thing in the creative industry. Some people are absolutely lovely. Their generosity knows no bounds, and I will always remember them, just as I will always remember the other sort of person.
Yes. Yeah.
It makes
And
better stories,
Elizabeth,
though.
I cannot skim past the fact that you are an actress. And I did some research. I always like to research my guests. And Elizabeth, you played a pretty intense, I guess, polarizing character on New Zealand television. Is that, I mean, I'm getting the sense anyone from New Zealand and even Australia, because the particular show is on screens here on a streaming channel. So, do you want to tell
Oh,
us
wow.
anything about that live?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Shortland Street, it was before my first novel. I mean, I was already writing plays and things, but I went to drama school in New Zealand. I went to the equivalent, I guess you could say, of NIDA here. And I was actually in Johnson and Friends. That was my first TV job, which is an Australian children's television show. I played Victoria the dinosaur, which was shot in New Zealand. But
Oh,
that was my big break. And then I soon after that got a part in Shortland Street, which is our medical drama here, which is, I mean, I really always think of Young Doctors because when it started, it was so long ago. It's 30 something years old now. And I played a psychotic nurse who went around killing people. I committed the first murder on the show. And Robin Malcolm, who's a very successful actor now, I played her sister. I tried to kill her a few times, didn't succeed. And I also went back
wow.
not long ago because I was on it when I was 25, 26, and then I went back when I was 50, 51, which was quite
Wow.
hilarious as the same character. And I'm
What a
alive. I'm
journey.
still out there somewhere. And I've probably been incarcerated again. And I would go back when I'm 70. That's my intention.
She'll be back.
Yeah. But it does make that
That's
people, some people will look at me and you can tell they can't quite tell where they recognize me from, but they
yeah.
know they don't trust me, which is the thing I've fought against
Uh,
all my life.
well, thank you for sharing that because I felt, wow, that's pretty interesting. I'm sure, like you said, you go back with the character, but it's yeah, and a very memorable and intense time as a character that's on TV that's got a
Oh, it's
profile.
stuck in people's minds. It was when
Yeah,
Shortland was on screen back then. That's when it was the most watched show in New Zealand. Like
yeah,
nobody would call anyone else at 7 o'clock in the 90s. Like if you did, you'd just be like, "Shut up! I'm watching Shortland Street." It
yeah,
was crazy, actually.
yeah.
Mm.
No, look, I see it's on some streaming channels in Australia, so you never know where you can watch
I think you can see it
episodes.
on YouTube now. I think they've put up
Yeah.
all the early days on YouTube.
Oh,
So hyper
oh,
fans, and there are a lot of sort of super fans, are reacquainting themselves with their favorite moments. Oh,
yeah.
there goes my.
Well, I'm going to put a link in to the YouTube where to go to have a look at some old episodes for anyone curious around the world watching. But Elizabeth, if we're curious about you, we're curious about the book Seed. Do you want to point us in the direction? I'll put it in the show notes. I know I follow you on Instagram, Elizabeth. Like, where
Oh,
do you
oh,
want us to
sorry.
kind of find
Oh,
anything else about you or the book?
oh
You're
God, I'm
a
so
publisher?
bad at all that stuff. Sorry, I was just like, I don't really have a Facebook. I do have a basic Instagram. I'm not very good at driving it. I don't know what stories are. I frankly have
That's
no flipping
okay.
idea. And sometimes people, someone so and so shared something in their story, and I'm like, oh, I don't. Do I like it? Do I? What do I? Where do I even see them? Are they the circles at the top?
Yeah. And look, sometime what I'm going to do, Elizabeth, I'll put a link into the publisher, some links into like where we can connect with you and get curious. You might get inundated with curiosity, but it just makes it easy for the audience to connect with you and the book.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Instagram's probably the best place, but it'll usually take me about 3 months to notice that I have messages because I don't have them notify me on my phone. I'm a super duper Luddite. Do you know the only way you can actually write a book is if you're not spending your whole time fixated on your socials? That's something I feel
Yeah,
like
so true.
I know.
So true. Well, keep writing, Elizabeth. I really enjoyed this. I feel like I know people in my friendship group that I would just love to hand this on to because there was, a bit of us all in this.
Oh, and while too, I did say it was written out of pain. It's also really funny because I think that
It
is the
is.
greatest response to when life is tough. Crack a joke.
Perfect. Perfect. Elizabeth, it's so lovely to meet you. Books in the
Thank you
future.
for
I
having
would
me.
love to get you back to share any future work. It's been a delight to talk to you.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.